What is up, guys? So, if you guys don't know me, or if you guys are just tuning in, this is episode 1 of me reading the book that I wrote and published. The goal is to make sure that it gets completed and put out by the anniversary, which will be November 12th. So for those of you watching, thanks for watching. Excuse my sweaty face. I'll probably be taking breaks to grab plenty of drinks of water. The reason being, I'm in a warehouse. My friend Sean, who owns Pride Foods, he is gracious enough to let me use all of his fancy equipment to get this recorded, because I don't think that Audible would take me too seriously if I've sold like 18 copies of this, and I imagine they would want a piece of it. So realistically, I'm just trying to get the information out. So the goal is to just read you my book. I'm basically going to obviously read the chapter, and then I will kind of give like an overview of the chapter, and kind of give you maybe like little tidbits of information, or like for the first chapter, I'll kind of elaborate on who I was talking about, just because the person in that chapter, we are much closer now. We're actually like friends outside of what I needed help with. But other than that, that's about the idea of this. So welcome to episode 1. I'm just winging it, so excuse the sweat and the nervousness. I'll get used to it. I'm gonna ideally do roughly 2 chapters per episode of this, so there's only like 9. And then ideally it's not gonna take super long, but we'll see what happens. Some of these chapters are pretty short, and then I did notice that I really did save all of the best for last, and the last chapter is like 40 something pages compared to an average of 20 for the rest of them. So bear with me. Also, shout out to Lauren. She's doing all the work. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just reading. So shout out to you. But here we go. So intro starting now, page 1. The more I think about what I want the purpose of this book to be, the more drawn out the overall plan seems to be. This will be my first piece of work as an author, but I certainly don't want to be a one and done type of guy. I enjoy writing, and I enjoy teaching people things through the lens I have on life. Not to say that mine is the best or by any means perfect, but I feel it can make a positive difference in at least one person's life. If you are truly confident in your ability to do just that, it becomes a non-negotiable responsibility of yours to fulfill. No matter how you end up bringing it to fruition, the requirement is simply that you do so. Growing up, being any sort of leader was never something I thought I would be explicitly great at. Not that I really even gave it any thought in the first place. Usually, great leaders are exceptionally great people who know exactly what to do and exactly what to say at exactly the right time. For me, that could not be further from the truth. I don't have any idea what I'm doing in the next few hours of my own day, let alone have the ability to think for someone else. However, it seems that no matter how hard I try to avoid it, I somehow find myself placed in a leadership position. Whether the title comes with it or not, it always seems to happen. So that being said, what could a 26-year-old kid from South Oklahoma City possibly say that any of you could learn from in anything, let alone about love, discipline, education, motivation, Jesus, people, life lessons, etc.? Honestly, not much, or at least not anything groundbreaking to the majority of you. Something I've learned in my short 26 years of life so far is that anyone and everyone has something that they can teach you. You just have to be humble enough to admit that. Contrary to popular belief, no one person knows everything about everything. You have no idea what someone else has been through before your interaction with them. It doesn't matter if it's an incredibly wise old monk that you seek out purposely or some random kid you cross paths with at the grocery store. Each one of us has an individual way we look at and experience life. Each one of us has something to learn from the next and something we can teach. Whether you think so or not, it's one of the truest facts of life there is. The majority of this book is going to be my thoughts and experiences. Then, of course, my interpretation of those thoughts and experiences. If it motivates you in any way, cool. If it opens up a new avenue of perspective for you, also dope. Mostly, I just want to give you a look into my life and upbringing, show you how and why I am the way that I am, and see if you can relate. I feel like the world we live in these days is very loud, literally and figuratively. There are numerous complications in so many different areas. Everyone thinks they're an expert after reading a headline or two, and absolutely no one is aware of how to carry on a civilized, quote-unquote, adult conversation. And these days especially, I use the word adult lightly because many adults I know act like kindergartners. Don't get me wrong, some people are incredibly offensive when they talk about certain things that they disagree with. A lot of that has to do with ignorance and a dash of insecurity sprinkled in. There are a lot of things that go on in the world these days that I strongly disagree with, but the moment I let my emotions take over the conversation, it's over. No one will even try taking me seriously once that happens. Most people are unwilling to slow down and listen to the other person over the fear of being humiliated and or being wrong. Again, insecurity and ignorance. The way I express my thoughts on the themes discussed later will mostly be from my personal experiences as told through stories of each topic. A combination of small, mostly unrelated, not even necessarily chronological stories for the most part. The goal is to make it all flow in a format that won't completely bore you to death, maybe get a laugh out of you, and most importantly, make you think. I've started and restarted this book 3 times now, and I have no idea whether it'll stick this time or not. Third time's the charm, though, right? Worst case, doing something bad is much better than doing something at all. Doing nothing at all, My biggest encouragement and greatest hope for you is that you feel comfortable in your own skin and feel like you can truly be yourself after reading this. Before anyone can take me seriously on the "just be you, they'll adjust" title, most people want to know how I came to believe that. What would I have been through, and what would I know to feel like that is an acceptable way to live? This collection of stories from my upbringing is where that model came from. The way I am, why I am this way, and everything in between. I promise I'm not just some entitled kid telling you to suck it up. I just hate how so many people are afraid to be their true selves because of social media, what their friends and families will say, or simply because the world may not accept that particular version of them. A quote that I stole from Dr. Seuss goes, "Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter won't mind." It's a little cheesy, yeah, but the meaning behind it is timeless. The people who complain, make fun of you, or just straight up tell you no are people who you may want to consider removing from your life. I understand that may be difficult depending on the type of relationship you hold with some of these people. However, short-term sacrifice for the long-term goal of being okay with what you see staring back at you in the mirror is much more important, I promise. The people who truly care about you, who want to see you succeed, and who don't mind the path you choose to take for your life will stick around no matter what, I promise. Yes, it is scary to begin the process of finding out who is really on your team, but trust me, it is of dire importance that you do it sooner rather than later. You'll thank yourself for it, and once you step into your true calling in life, the people you positively affect will also thank you. All rambling aside, and saved for later pages down the road, without further ado, here goes. That was the end of the intro. Super simple. Obviously, I'm still working through some kinks, trying to figure out how to get comfortable. Speaking into a microphone, that's new for me. But much appreciated for the guys that are still here. I will be reading the next 2 chapters. My website, if you want to read ahead, because obviously I'm only going to be releasing a few chapters at a time, this book, as well as, signed copies of this book will be available at my website, as well as colorways of this shirt. I'm currently working on new ones, but right now I have gray, blue, purple, and red colorways, and those shirts as well as the book are available on my website, anthonyhust.org. So ANTHONYHUST.org. And then I personally take care of those. I personally ship those. So just let me know if you guys need anything specifically with those, or if you accidentally click the wrong size. Obviously, you can DM me on Instagram. It will be Antoine Hustler. It is ANTWANHUSTLER. It should be a picture of me wearing one of these shirts. It's a blue one, I think, but you'll figure it out. It's the link to my book and everything is in my bio. So hit me up, follow me, and obviously order lots of books and shirts. So appreciate you guys.